Welcome back, friends. We are riding around in the LQ9 Swapped Silverado with our motorcycle in the back. Just in southern New York. I'm not too far on the trip yet. I left a little later than I normally do, about 5 a.m. Usually I leave like 3 or 4, but it's too dang early. So we're going to talk a little bit about this truck. And the first thing I've noticed is you can definitely hold overdrive a lot better than you used to be able to do. So that's super nice. The weight of the bike itself too would actually kick the 5.3 out of overdrive more often than you might think, just between the 342 gearing and you know, that extra probably 800 pounds when you factor in the ramps and the just motorcycle gear, my helmet, like that all adds up, right? The bike's high fives plus some accessories plus again all that stuff, ratchet straps, blah blah blah. So the interesting part is it really, other than just having a little bit more power, I mean the driving characteristics, as you can imagine, are identical to the 5.3. It just kind of does everything at a little bit lower RPM, or stays in a, you know, higher gear for less time, you know, however you want to look at it. But it's just like a good, it's just a good solid upgrade from the 5.3. You know, it's nothing crazy, right? Like it's not some super cammed out stroker motor where it has like really different driving characteristics. So what I recommend you doing this, did all new tuning, got the new, you know, a bunch of new parts, starter, alternator, all that kind of stuff. Do I recommend this kind of swap over buying a new truck? So the thing is, power wise, for argument's sake, you're basically a modern Hemi with this swap, minus some power on the very top end. But unless you're racing your truck, that top end power's not particularly helpful. So this just kind of gives you a rough idea of how it's going to perform. Now the disadvantage is you of course still have the 4-speed transmission. In this case you have pretty high rear end gear still. Not that you couldn't change that, but you know, it's just added money, right? You just keep stacking freaking $1,000 bills on the dang price of this engine, right? So I'm in this probably $5,500. You know, that was $4,200 for the motor, shipped to the door with taxes, give or take. And then plus, I'm just assuming, I have it written down somewhere, but you know, about $1,000+ of just extra random parts, things I wanted to upgrade, different sensors for the motor, all that kind of thing, some gaskets, some seals. Although your motor comes with a lot of that stuff, which is nice. The motor comes with like a full swap kit. It's kind of neat. But it really does just cruise on the highway, super nice. Just kind of stick it in gear and pretty much go. So for the price compared to a new truck, I don't know. If you're at all price conscious and like the vehicle you have, I think it's a hard hard thing not to be able to justify. To spend $5,000, let's say you have somebody install it, right? And it's $9,000 because you added extra parts in it, okay? Let's just say spend $8,000-$9,000 on this with a boatload of new parts. I don't know. If your frame and body are in good shape, you like the interior of the vehicle, you know, the paint's decent, I think it could be worth it. To replace this truck with the power level this has, let's just say you did buy a Ram or like a 5.3 Silverado really is barely the power this is now. You know, but you have more gear, so even like a 5.3 Silverado, a 2.7 EcoBoost, a 2.7 EcoTac Chevy, or, you know, a Ram Hemi, you know, any of those trucks are roughly power-wise what this is, or a bit more, but are probably going to do kind of the same job, give or take. So with that being said, kind of comparing the prices of those vehicles, you're going to get a little better mileage, so that'll help offset some of the cost. You get a little better interior. Well, better interior as far as more modern and stuff. I mean, this is full leather. I have heated seats. you're going to get all that with a say mid-50s MSRP truck of all the ones I just mentioned. They're going to be cloth seats, like an LT trim, an XLT trim for it, a Bighorn Ram. The Ram, you'll probably get the best interior package and stuff for the money, but you're looking at 55 to 60 grand out the door, tax tags, title, so to speak, to replace this truck and get, albeit more capability, but I'm still going to call it a similar truck because power output's relatively similar, and the interior's kind of an even swap, again, from the perspective that it's going to be a lower trim but better quality, being more modern. So that's just something to consider too. Also, you know, what's your transmission like? What's your rear end like? U-joints, you know, transfer case, all that other stuff. Have you replaced it? Have you maintained it? If you haven't replaced it, how many miles are on the truck, obviously? You know, when you decide to do this motor swap, like, there's a bunch of factors. The thing that I had going for me was I had already done so much work on the truck that doing one more thing, being the engine, one more big thing, was sort of a no-brainer in the sense that I had already gotten so far into it with all the other drivetrain parts. If you got, say, 222,000 miles like I did, and you've done none of your driveline, and you blow a motor or blow a trans or something like that, you got a lot of thinking to do, right? It's a lot of money to spend on a vehicle that's got a pile of miles, but, you know, it also could be worth it if you're willing to do a little bit more work as time goes on, and you know, say to yourself, okay, I need to get, say, 50,000 miles out of this brand new transmission to at least kind of break even on it and then get some more life out of the whole truck entirely. So it's hard to predict when things are going to break sometimes. That being said, if I had a 2500 of this generation, right, you know, a 99 to 07 Silverado, or other years for that matter, I think the 2500s are a little more robust with some of the drivetrain components, obviously transmission, but even things you don't think about, U-joints, rear end, transfer case, they're all a little heavier duty, and I kind of want to say that they last, even for like a given equivalent workload for the weight rating of the vehicle. So let's just say you loaded a 70% towing rating its entire life, just for argument's sake. I kind of inherently think a 2500 will hold up better at 70% of its, you know, rated capacity than a half-ton would. And I could be wrong on that, but that's just kind of my gut feel from the experience and knowledge I have with these types of vehicles and friends and internet and everything else. But and I've owned this thing like 10 years, so I've got some knowledge on it. But you know, it's sample size 1, right? But anyway, so I do think there's a lot of merit to that as well, right? If you do have a 2500, it's also going to be that much more expensive to replace. So keeping it, the equation to keep it becomes that much more appealing. There's a lot of factors, guys. Maybe we'll do a video someday of like breaking down how to calculate if something, you know, a big repair is worth doing. And I have some strategies for that. Basically normalizing out your cost per mile, because that's really at the end of the day what matters. If you don't just want a new vehicle. So that's the ultimate kicker, right? If you just want a new car, new truck, whatever, then, and you have the money, then just go buy a new one. Like, I wouldn't say don't feel guilty about keeping your old one running if it's time to upgrade for other reasons. I'm just saying if you like what you got and it just needs big mechanical fix. So anyway, guys, that's all I got on this one. So thanks for watching. God bless America, and I'll see you on the next one.